when it comes down to the subject of Bruce Lee, I'm very passionate about it. I'm not the only person that has passion for what Bruce Lee has left for future martial artists. And I say that again, for future martial artists. And he has left a legacy unrivaled by many. He was a pioneer, above and beyond many. And there were many other pioneers, but I'm talking about Bruce Lee right now. Now I know there are guys out there that say you're a Bruce Lee fanboy. Call me what you want to call me, it doesn't matter. I don't necessarily have to answer to what you say, because I know what I am, and I know the impact that Bruce Lee has had on the world of martial arts and the world in general. And that's great as far as the impact in a positive way. So Bruce Lee's choreography is what I wanted to talk about real brief here in this video. What sets it apart from any other martial arts movie? It wasn't just simple choreography. Now, I must make people mindful, if you don't already know, and I must remind other people who do know and may have even forgotten or don't think about it anymore. Remember the expression that Bruce Lee said in an interview. He said, honestly, martial arts to me is expressing one's self. Honestly, to me, martial arts is expressing oneself. Now, this man did just that. He had a passion for what he did, and he was relentless in his training. He trained every day, even sustained an injury or two throughout the years, the early years, and he did not allow that to stop him from training. He took notes, he had journals, he had a massive library on fighting. Actors don't do that. He was an actor first. But actors don't do what I just said. You don't spend an inordinate amount of time on studying the art of pugilism or fighting. Various systems and virtually everything that exists in our Western culture, and even Asiatic culture, if you will. He did that. And he surmised this system of Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist or feet. So now, expressing one's self. When he got into the film industry, where he had control, you will see his martial arts there. That's not someone who is a choreographic artist teaching him what to do in terms of moves. That is not a stunt coordinator. What you saw on screen was Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. And some might say, well, who has he fought? We know he had fights. We were not there. There has been accounts by people who knew him personally that had witnessed him fighting. That's enough for me as a person. It should be enough for you if you studied him. People who really legitimately want to study Bruce Lee, they will, and they'll come to the conclusion that he knew what he was doing. And he trained celebrities, and he had other martial arts masters and grandmasters who were great friends of his. Ed Parker was one, June Rhee was another one, and the list can go on and on and on. You don't let a mere actor teach you martial arts. You don't have people who pay this man hundreds and thousands of dollars to teach you his art if he's not legitimate. This man was, as one of my followers said, and I've heard it said many times, he was the real deal. He really was. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of American martial artists at the time had to take a back seat to Bruce Lee in their own minds because they were jealous of him. It was a new guy on the scene. New guy on the scene. and he happens to be Asian, and we cannot allow him to take the limelight and make us seem as though we don't know what we're doing. That was not Bruce Lee's intent. All he was doing was being himself. Yes, he was just being himself. Bruce Lee he introduced the 1-inch punch, the 3-inch punch, the thumb push-ups, the finger push-ups. Not saying that it had never been done before, but he made it famous. He made it popular. No one was doing that. But this actor did this? Yes, he did that. This Chinese man did this. So, an actor made the world convinced to want to use the nunchakus, some call the nunchucks, an Okinawan weapon that a Chinese man made famous, taught to him by his own student Dan Inosanto. He took it beyond Dan's skill level. And that was the highlight in Enter the Dragon. It was the highlight in Return of the Dragon. It was the highlight in Game of Death. It was the highlight in Chinese Connection as well. The nunchakus. We never knew what those were in this country until Bruce Lee. Everybody wanted to make nunchakus back in the 70s because of Bruce Lee. Everybody wanted to do martial arts back in the 70s because of Bruce Lee, not because he was an actor, but because he was a great martial artist, not just simply a screen presence like Superman or Batman. No, he outshone those individuals as well, those characters. Yes, he did. Bruce Lee did that. Bruce Lee made the martial arts world bigger than what it was in America, in the Western world. Bruce Lee did that by himself. But they still say, or some still say, who has he ever fought? Wow. Man, was he very much a convincing actor. If he's never fought anyone, or if he wasn't a great martial artist, why is he still the most popular martial arts figure of our time? Why is he still not dead in terms of his memory? Why is he still talked about? He's the only one. Can you name one other martial arts figure that spans time like Bruce Lee has? But you want to say he's a fake, a counterfeit? Somebody knows different than you, haters of Bruce Lee. Now, if you watch the fight scenes in his films, especially in Return of the Dragon, where he fights Chuck Norris, and in Enter the Dragon, throughout the whole movie, his fight scenes, you will see various aspects of his training in various arts. You'll see boxing. You'll see Chinese boxing. You'll see Sabat, French foot fighting. You will see Wing Chun, especially the trapping when he fights O'Hara and when he fights in the tunnel at the elevator and Enter the Dragon. You'll see that. That's not acting. That's not some stunt coordinator told him to do that. No, that's Bruce Lee all by himself, exhibiting himself, expressing himself on film. And if you listen to the things that he said in the movie Game of Death, the parts that did survive, it's philosophical. He's still talking about fighting. Mere actors don't just do that. The man was a real martial arts master and a real martial arts pioneer, and he was above his time. Watch his films if you really care to learn. But anybody who doesn't really want to watch his films are going to just simply be and remain haters. Now, I'm going to say this again, to the credit of all masters, gurus, grandmasters, and so forth. There have been many, many great grandmasters in the world. It would be foolish to say that Bruce Lee was the only one. I've never said that. But on paper, on film, on documentaries, and in the minds of most people in the world, Bruce Lee was the greatest martial artist of our time that we know of, that surfaced just like Michael Jordan in basketball. He still held the greatest basketball player under Dr. J. There's been others, but Michael's at the top. In pop music, Michael Jordan, it's not Michael Jordan, but Michael Jackson was the greatest entertainer of all time. We can say Prince was there, but we all know Michael held the crown at the top. And we can go on and on. Jimi Hendrix in guitar, right? Number one in his genre. And the list goes on. But as far as martial arts is concerned, expressing one's self honestly is what Bruce Lee said, and he did just that. And that's what made him great. And unfortunately, that's why he died so young, was trying to perfect his craft. That was it. And that was all.